So, just what is the best battle in the history of the Pokemon anime? Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be discussing and ranking the top 3 battles in the Pokemon anime. But before we get started, I need you to help me save the world by using 10 million volt Thunderbolt on that subscribe button. And would you look at that, it's super effective. Alright, now before I rank these top 3 battles, I want to establish specifically what 3 battles I'm going to be talking about. The battles I'll be ranking for this video are Ash vs. Paul in the Sinnoh League, the post-Alola League exhibition battle between Ash and Kukui, and of course, the epic battle from the finals of the Masters 8 with the undefeated champion of the world, Leon vs. Alon. Nah, I'm just playing. The final battle is of course going to be Ash vs. Leon. All 3 of these battles are iconic, and they're all 3 pretty much the climactic battle of each respective series. These are the battles that the animators decided to go ham on. These battles are what make the Pokemon anime peak fiction. If a battle is a 4-parter, then you know it's going to make for some great Pokemon. Now, as I dive into these rankings and the flippin' battles, it is essential that you all remember one thing. And that is that this video is pretty opinionated, and these are all honestly pretty interchangeable. Also, there may be some recency bias within these selections. And before I get started, I have to give an honorable mention to Ash vs. Gary in the Johto League, and Ash vs. Cynthia in the Masters 8 tournament. Now with that being said, let's get started. At number 3, I have Ash vs. Paul. Okay, so for about 10 years, this battle was regarded as the pinnacle of all battles in the Pokemon anime. This battle put Ash vs. Gary to shame. This battle and rivalry was easily the best written on the list. To this day, Paul is still considered by many to be Ash's greatest rival. Paul was Ash's only ever rival to screw with him psychologically. He challenged and belittled Ash's training methods and clowned on him for actually caring about his Pokemon. Then he totally bodied him in Ash's battle with him at Lake Acuity, basically sweeping through most of Ash's team and leaving them all broken and bent. The progress Ash made as a trainer was made evident in their final battle at the Sinnoh League. The battle itself was filled with epic moments, genius strategies, and of course some crazy twists. From an underground flare blitz, to close combat being used on the ground, counter shields, and even Paul purposefully sacrificing half of his team to let Ash get complacent, this battle had it all. But the thing that pushes this battle over the edge is Infernape. Infernape is the perfect narrative piece to push this rivalry from good to great. Infernape had the common fire-type starter that was abandoned backstory, but this Pokemon was abandoned before our very eyes after his strength didn't quite cut it for Paul, because Paul was unable to control Chimchar's Blaze ability. So Ash, being the total Chad that he is, takes in Chimchar and turns him into a beast by helping Infernape master his Blaze ability. So of course, when all the chips are put to the middle of the table and it's Infernape versus his rival Electivire, we got one of the greatest moments in, honestly, all of anime. Infernape is down and just about out, and he hears Paul insult him one last time, and Infernape just loses it. Tell me you didn't get chills watching this for the first time. The camera work is freaking amazing. Infernape activates his Blaze ability, and it pretty much goes Super Saiyan. You could just feel the anger behind each of his punches and hits. The battle concludes with an epic Thunder Punch vs. Blue Flare Blitz clash, with Infernape and Ash as the victors. The battle left Paul with an extremely different outlook on the world, honestly. He'd become a pretty decent dude after this, and you could tell he respected Ash. Enough so that he agreed to help Ash train for the Masters 8 tournament much later on. After defeating Paul, Ash advanced to the top 4 of the Sinnoh League, farther than he'd ever been before. And honestly, he might have won the whole freaking league if it wasn't for Action Replay Boy. Okay, now for some of the aspects I didn't love about the battle. And the only real thing I could say about this is some of the Pokemon in the battle kind of felt worthless. Like, what did Paul's Frostlass Ninjask do this battle? And what did Ash's Staraptor get to do besides get bodied? In the battle these two had at Lake Acuity, Paul's Ursaring was a beast, so he was like, nah, I'm not gonna bring that. Alright, now at the penultimate spot, I have the battle for the strongest in the world, Ash vs. Leon. This is the battle that made Ash the very best, like no one ever was. This battle had everything: Mega Evolution, a Z-move, Legendary Interruption, and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Gigantamaxes. Okay, let's begin with the best aspect of the battle, the visuals. Similar to the issues that plagued Dragon Ball Super, Pokemon Journey's anime had some animation and art issues during different parts of the series, and I guess a lot of this can be forgiven because there was a major pandemic. But for this battle, the animators and artists brought it. I've rewatched this battle at least 10 times already, and every time it is so satisfying to lay my eyes on. Pikachu and Charizard's finale specifically is visually stunning. As for the narrative perspective, there definitely isn't as much weight here as we see in the other battles. Leon just simply isn't that dynamic or isn't that interesting of a character. His motivations are weak, and we really don't even know much about him. He's like one of those crappy movie villains who just wants to take over the world because he's evil. The narrative strength comes almost entirely from Ash and Pikachu. For 25 years we heard about how Ash Ketchum dreamed of becoming a Pokemon Master. And although that's pretty vague, winning this battle is likely a huge step in that direction. You guys already know the best part of this battle. Once Pikachu had been pushed to his absolute limit, he falls, seemingly in defeat. But then Pikachu has a vision. He sees everyone he's ever traveled with. Pikachu knows they all believe in him. This trust and belief that Ash and Pikachu had gained over 25 years of traveling rejuvenates the yellow mouse. And then it's time for the climactic finish. Pikachu overpowers Charizard, and like that, Ash is the greatest trainer in the world. The negative aspects of this battle, again, come from the narrative aspect. Before this battle, for pretty much the entire series, Leon was shown as this unstoppable force of a trainer who could sweep through other trainers' teams with just a monkey. So I, for one, found it kinda hard to believe that some ancient fish could KO this beast of a monkey. But I guess that's a problem for Journeys as a whole. But overall, this battle was epic, cinematic, memorable, and historic. I'll be the first to admit that I woke up at like 5 a.m. to watch this finale of the battle live. I'm interested to see how this battle ages though. By this, I mean after all the hype dies down, and when the Journeys series has ended, will we still look so favorably upon it? Only time will tell. Alright then, so in my honest and humble opinion, the best battle in the entire Pokemon anime is Ash vs. Tobias. This battle has it all. Stakes, a great contrast between the two challengers. I mean, after we got to see Tobias' inspiring background and origin story, that just made the battle between Torkoal and Darkrai so much better. It made perfect sense, honestly. Nah, I'm just playing. The best battle in Pokemon anime history is Ash vs. Kukui in the Alola League. Where do I even start with this battle? I'll begin with the visuals. Similar to the other two battles on this list, this was the epic series-long climactic battle, so you know the animators and artists went balls to the wall on this one. The clash between Tapu Koko's Guardian of Alola versus Pikachu's 10 million volt Thunderbolt was a masterpiece. Oh, and what do you know, during that battle we also got a Pikachu and Ash in the Pokemon Spirit World scene. I'm sensing a pattern. What's crazy though is this isn't even the only Z-move clash that looks amazing during this battle. We also got a double Inferno Overdrive that I will go into further detail on soon. So narratively, this battle is basically on the same level of Ash vs. Paul. For the series, Kukui was basically Ash's long-lost father, so we got a bit of a Luke and Vader father vs. son battle dynamic here. But beyond just the two trainers, we also see so much narrative conflict between Pokemon and their matchups. Ash's Torracat, who had been through so much pain and struggle, had finally been able to take down the strongest Incineroar in the world. Then we got Naganadel, who was able to finally show off its power, and it was hilarious to see everyone's reaction to Ash whipping out a Beast Ball. Rowlet was in this battle, so it's basically already obviously peak. Also, it was interesting to see Ash's Lycanroc be the only Pokemon to not pick up a KO this battle. But that is more than alright, because in the previous battle, it was Lycanroc that basically turned Ash into a champion. So he's forgiven. The homie Melmetal was also amazing to see in this battle with his man-child-like nature. But the highlight was definitely Pikachu overcoming his pseudo-Alolan rival Tapu Koko to add another legendary defeat to his list. There really are no negatives to this battle. There is one thing, and it's definitely not a negative but more an unanswered question. Who was Kukui's 6 Pokemon he planned on using? I mean, it's almost certain the Pokemon wouldn't have been stronger than Tapu Koko, but if you guys know the answer or have any theories about who his 6 Pokemon would be, let me know in the comments. I honestly think it could have been a midday Lycanroc like he has in the games. The most interesting part about this battle, however, there really is no stakes in this battle. Seriously, there was very little to gain for either side. Ash was already the Alolan champion, and win or lose, that couldn't be taken away from him. You could tell everyone was having a good time during this battle, and honestly, this stress-free clash was very refreshing as a viewer. Does anyone else find themselves watching these battles over and over and over again? Or is that just me? Well guys, that's gonna do it for today's video, but you gotta let me know your ranking of the top 3 battles in the Pokemon anime. And also, maybe you don't totally agree with these battles being picked. Maybe Ash vs. Cynthia should be on this list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks, guys, and happy holidays.